Imagine for a moment, what if Jesus, the embodiment of grace and love, adopted the principles of Stoicism? What would that look like? In this video, we'll explore the possibility of a Christian Stoicism where we merge the teachings of Jesus with Stoic philosophy, a practice based on virtue, wisdom, and accepting the things we cannot change. Stoicism, founded by Zeno of Citium in ancient Greece, teaches us to live according to nature and focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Key Stoic values include wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, virtues that are meant to help us live a good life in harmony with the world around us. Jesus, the central figure of Christianity, taught love, forgiveness, and self-sacrifice. His life and teachings emphasize humility, compassion, and living in accordance with God's will. But what if Jesus had adopted the Stoic approach? What would he do if he practiced Stoicism while still living out his Christian mission? Let's look at the key Stoic virtues and how they might align with Jesus' teachings. First, Stoicism emphasizes wisdom, the ability to make good choices. Jesus often demonstrated wisdom in his teachings, as seen in his parables and interactions with people. His wisdom wasn't about intellectual knowledge alone, but knowing how to live a virtuous life and guide others toward truth. For example, when Jesus was tested by the Pharisees, he answered with great wisdom, showing how we can live righteously even in challenging circumstances. Another Stoic virtue is courage, facing adversity with a calm, controlled spirit. Jesus displayed incredible courage during his life, especially in his final days. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed for God's will, even though he knew the suffering that awaited him. Jesus showed that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to face difficult situations with faith and determination, traits that would align with Stoic courage. Temperance, or self-control, is another key Stoic virtue. In the Gospels, Jesus demonstrates self-control in many ways, such as resisting temptation in the wilderness and refraining from judgment. Stoicism teaches that we must control our desires, and Jesus exemplified this with his commitment to living in accordance with God's will rather than following his own impulses. He was never swayed by the pressures of worldly desire. Instead, he lived a life of simplicity, focusing on serving others. But could Jesus have been a Stoic without conflict? Stoicism emphasizes emotional detachment, where we learn to accept what happens without letting it disturb our peace. While this is an admirable practice, it seems to conflict with Jesus' deep emotional connection to humanity. Jesus showed profound compassion, especially in his moments of empathy, such as when he wept for Lazarus or expressed sorrow over Jerusalem. Stoicism encourages a sort of emotional distance, but Christianity calls for deep emotional engagement with the suffering of others. Could Stoicism still be practiced within the framework of Christian teachings? Perhaps Jesus could be seen as embodying the Stoic ideal of focusing on what is within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Yet, his radical love for others and his ability to feel deeply for them would challenge the idea of emotional detachment. Jesus would likely practice Stoicism in a way that focused on personal virtue, self-discipline, and acceptance of God's will, while also embracing the Christian call to love others unconditionally, be vulnerable, and bear one another's burdens. So, what would Jesus do if he were Stoic? He would likely practice the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and temperance, but he would do so in the context of his mission of love, grace, and redemption. Jesus' teachings about love, forgiveness, and self-sacrifice go beyond Stoic rationality and emotional control. But we can still take inspiration from Stoicism in our journey of faith. Ultimately, a Christian Stoicism could be about focusing on inner peace self-control, and acceptance of God's will, while never losing sight of the essential call to love God and others wholeheartedly. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Could the teachings of Jesus and Stoic philosophy complement each other? We'd love to hear your thoughts.